Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well and thank you so much for watching. If you're digging this type of content, please like and subscribe. That would really help me out. Definitely helps the growth of the channel. Okay, what we are checking out today is the Lawrence Petros Designs, or LPD, JMP 79 preamp. Based on the title, I'm sure you've figured out what it is. Lawrence has a prized JMP 79 SL that he obviously really digs, and he modeled this after that amplifier. What I know of the JMP 79, I've never owned one. I've played a lot of late 70s JMPs, and the thing I always loved about them is the growl and the punch and the dynamics and the definition. They're just really great sounding amplifiers. They're really in that era of just classic rock tones. It's pretty hard to go wrong with one of those. And in my humble opinion, I think this pedal really nails it. So let's get into what's on top of it. It's exactly what you would think it would be because it's based on that amplifier. So it has the same exact tone stack, and as well as a master volume and a preamp. So across the top, you've got treble, middle, bass, and then across the bottom you've got your master volume, presence control, and your preamp. We'll check all that out in the demo as far as how it dials. You also have a three-way switch in the center that allows you to choose between two different bright caps. We'll get into how those sound. Both sound excellent. It just depends on your ears, what gear you're using, what type of tones you like. Soft touch foot switch, which is great. 9-volt DC. Ins and outs are on the top. Let's check this thing out. It is the LPD, or Lawrence Petros Designs, JMP 79 preamp. All right, let's give this thing a whirl. Here's the guitar into the amp. And here is the JMP 79. my usual bleh to kind of show you how this pedal sounds. It's really dynamic. It's really dialable. I do like how this, essentially it's like a bright cap thing, interacts with everything else. It obviously is going to be less apparent if you've got the preamp turned all the way up, but just having that interaction and then being able to, you know, adjust even more nuance between that presence and treble is, in my opinion, that's really cool. Not super high gain. This isn't supposed to be. You know, it's really meant to do that. You know, that JMP, that Master Volume 79 thing. Lots of growl, and what I would consider. I mean, it'll get some, you know, saturation, but it's really not meant to be that. So let's do this. Let's speaking of saturation, why don't we do this? Let's just check out the preamp, which is essentially gain in this case. So obviously off, same thing if you shut the volume off on the amp or preamp. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. Pretty dynamic, volume backs off great. The reason I was manipulating these two controls, middle and bass, is typically on this type of circuit, if you dime the front end like that, you're going to get quite a bit more low, so you're going to want to turn down your bass control. Now mids, the reason I went ahead and cranked those was to show that it does create more perceived saturation. So that's what's going on there. The master volume is exactly what you think it is. So it's capable of, you know, getting above unity to push the amp harder. I would think if you wanted to drive this straight into the power section of an amp, it'd be worth a go. I think it's active enough to do that. So that's what's going on, you know, with the master volume. We'll leave it around there. We'll put this back to noon. Let's listen to this bright switch. So in the center, I'm assuming that's neutral. To the left. To the right. So to the right, it seems like it's the most apparent. It seems to add a little bit more perceived, I guess, saturation. To the left, I'm hearing more presence, but also maybe a high mid coming through. And to the right, yeah, there's a a bit of a volume bump there. As you crank up the preamp, there's gonna, that'll be less apparent, but that's what that is doing. I really liked that for dialing in solo tones, my rhythm tones. If I wanted things to sound, more stringy, I just threw that switch. And then adjust it accordingly. I could add a little more bass, turn down the treble just a little bit. So yeah, really, really nice circuit or addition. Having that switch on the pedal is fabulous. All right, let's check out the EQ. I'm just going to sweep it. We'll start treb. I'll go middle, bass, and then we'll do the presence. Very Marshall-esque treble. Let's go mids off. And let's do the bass. Gets pretty big, but it's not overly active. Dig that. And last but not least, the presence. That's more subtle, it's less apparent, but if you're doing especially kind of higher gain solo stuff and you want to get some sizzle out, that's where that's going to come in really handy, but it also depends on where you have the bright switch. So keep that in mind, but that's what's going on with all of those parameters. All right, so that is the LPD, or Lawrence Petros Designs JMP 79. If you've got any other questions about it, as I always say, definitely go to the website and check things out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you on the next one.